Hello students, today we are going to study chapter 1 of NCERT class 7. The chapter name is Nutrition in Plants. So let's start the chapter. In class 6, you learned that the food is essential for all living organisms. You also learned that carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals are the components of food. These components of food are called nutrients and are necessary for our body. All living organisms require food. Plant can synthesize food for themselves, but animals, including we human beings, cannot. They get it from plants or animals that eat plants. Thus, humans and animals are directly or indirectly dependent on the plants. Now, Bujeho wants to know how plants prepare their own food. So, in the plants, how plants are making the food, the different types of nutrition, mode of nutrition in plants is given here. So, plants are the only organisms that can prepare food for themselves by using water, carbon dioxide, and minerals. These raw materials are already present in their surroundings. The nutrients enable living organisms to build their body, to grow, to repair damaged parts of their bodies, and to provide the energy to carry out life processes. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food for themselves from simple substance is called the autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic, that means in that auto means self and trophs means nourishment. So therefore the plants are called autotrophs because they are making their food by their own selves. Animals and most of the other organisms take in food prepared by plants. They are called heterotrophs. In this hetero, that means other. That means the animals which are dependent on the other animals or plants for their food are called the heterotrophs. Now, Paheli wants to know why our body cannot make food from carbon dioxide, water, and minerals like plants do. That we will see. Before that, now we may ask where the food factories of plants are located. Whether food is made in all parts of a plant or only in certain parts. How do plants obtain the raw materials from the surroundings? How do they transform them to the food factories of the plants? For all of this question, the answer is the process of photosynthesis, food making process in the plant. Now we will see how this process is going to be occur in the plants. So leaves are the food factories of the plants. Therefore, all the raw materials must reach the leaf. Water and minerals present in the soil are absorbed by the roots and transported to the leaves. Carbon dioxide is taken from the air. Now, how this carbon dioxide plants will take from the air? So small tiny pores are present on the surface of the leaves. These pores are surrounded by the guard cells and such pores are called as the stomata. Now you will wonder that what are these cells and guard cells? So cell is the basic unit of our body. Let's take an example. As the buildings are made of bricks, our body is also made of small units and that tiny units is called cell. All living organisms are made of these tiny units and that name is cells. The cells can be seen only under the microscope. Some organisms are made of only one cell. This cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary and it is called as the cell membrane, as shown in this picture. Most cells have a distinct or separated centrally located spherical structure, and that structure is known as the nucleus of the cell. The nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like structure, and that structure is known as the cytoplasm. These cells perform different kind of functions in our body. So some cells are guarding these pores. That cells are known as the guard cells. So this is how plants get carbon dioxide from the surroundings. Now Pooja wants to know how water and minerals are absorbed by the roots that reach to the leaves. So water and minerals are transported to the leaves by the vessels which run like pipes throughout the roots, the stem, the branches and the leaves. They form a continuous path or a passage for a nutrients to reach to the leaf. They are called vessels. You will learn more about the transport of materials in chapter 11. Now Paheli wants to know what is so special about the leaves that they can synthesize food but other parts of the plant cannot. So the leaves has the green pigment and that is known as the chlorophyll. It helps leaves to capture the energy from the sunlight. This energy used to synthesize or to prepare food from the carbon dioxide and water. Since the synthesis of foods occur in the presence of sunlight, it is known as the photosynthesis. That means light and synthesis that means to combine. So we find that chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water are necessary to carry out the process of photosynthesis. It is a unique process on the earth. The solar energy is captured by the leaves and stored in the plants in the form of food. That's why the sun is the ultimate source of the energy for all living organisms. Now can you imagine life on the earth in the absence of photosynthesis? In the absence of photosynthesis, there would not be any food. The survival of almost all living organisms directly or indirectly depends upon the food made by the plants. Besides oxygen, which is essential for the survival of all organisms, is produced during the photosynthesis process. In the absence of photosynthesis, life would be impossible on the earth. So, photosynthesis and solar energy is essential for the survival of all the living organisms. Now, besides the leaves, photosynthesis also take place in other green parts of the plant also, like in green stems, in green branches. The desert plants have scale or spine-like leaves to reduce the loss of water by transpiration. Now, transpiration is the process of evaporation of water from the leaves of the plants in the air. So, in the desert plants, to reduce this transpiration rate, they have the scale or spine-like leaves in the plants. These plants have green stems which carries out photosynthesis. Now during the photosynthesis, chlorophyll containing cells of leaves is shown in this figure 1.2 here. In the presence of sunlight, they use carbon dioxide and water to synthesize the carbohydrates. This process can be represented by an equation which show here carbon dioxide, and with water in the presence of sunlight and with the help of chlorophyll, the plant synthesizes carbohydrates and it releases the oxygen. Here the part of the leaf which contains chlorophyll is shown over here. This leaf and then the stomata opening and the guard cells which are guarding the stomata opening is shown here. The green pigment shows the chlorophyll. The guard cells are also there, and in between that the space or opening pores are known as the stomata. This is the section of a leaf. Now this diagram shows the process of photosynthesis. So this plant has the chlorophyll in its leaf, and it is getting water and minerals from the soil and taken the carbon dioxide from the surrounding, and in the presence of sunlight it synthesizes its food and it releases the oxygen in the environment. Now during this process oxygen is released. The presence of starch in leaves indicates the occurrence of photosynthesis. It means that if the starch is present on the leaves, that means leaves has made the photosynthesis process. Starch is also a carbohydrate. Now Bujoho has observed some plants with deep red, violet or brown leaves. He wants to know whether these leaves also carry out photosynthesis or not. So for that one activity is given here. For that take two potted plants of the same kind, keep one in the dark room or black box for 72 hours and the other in the sunlight. Then perform the iodine test with the leaves of both the plants as you did in the class 6. Then record your results. Now leave the pot which was earlier kept in the dark in the sunlight for 3 to 4 days and perform the iodine test again on its leaves and record your observation. Iodine test that you already know and you have done in the class 6. In that you have to cover some part of the leaves with the black strip and then you have to put that plant in the sunlight. After some days or few times you have to perform the iodine test on that leaves. So for that you have to boil that leaf with the alcohol and then after by cleaning it and after that you have to pour the iodine solution over that leaf. So if the leaf has starch or starch is present on the leaf, that part of the leaf will show different color. So by this iodine test you will get to know that which part of the leaf contain the starch. So by this process you will get to know that the leaves other than green also have chlorophyll. The large amount of red, brown and other pigments mask or cover the green color. That's why we are seeing them as the other color plants or other color leaves. Photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also. Like this, the different color of leaves are shown here. In all these leaves the photosynthesis has been occurred. You often see slimy green patches on the pond or stagnant, that means stable water bodies in which the water is not that much moving. These are generally formed by the growth of organisms called algae. Can you guess why algae are green in color? Because they contain chlorophyll which give them the green color. Algae can also prepare their own food by the process of this photosynthesis. So till now we had seen that by synthesis plant can produce carbohydrates. But what about the other components of the food? So synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. You have just learned that the plant synthesis carbohydrates through the process of photosynthesis. The carbohydrates are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are used to synthesize other components of food such as protein and fats. But proteins are nitrogenous substance which contain nitrogen. So from where do the plants obtain nitrogen? So recall that nitrogen is present in the abundance in gaseous form in the air, that is 78% in the air. However, plants cannot absorb nitrogen in this form. Soil has certain bacteria that convert this gaseous nitrogen into the usable form and release it into the soil. These are absorbed by the plants along with the water. Also, you might have seen farmers adding fertilizers which are rich in nitrogen to the soil. In this way, the plants fulfill their requirement of nitrogen along with the other constituents. Plants can then synthesize proteins and vitamins as well. So we had seen the autotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. Now we will see the other mode of nutrition in plants. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize their food. How do they survive and from where do they derive nutrition? Like humans and animals, such plants depends on the food produced by the other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, which is given in the next figure. Here, Cuscuta or Amarbel. Can you see the yellow thread-like structure, wiry-like branches twining around the stems of the branches of the tree? This is the plant called Cuscuta, or you can say Amarbel also. It does not have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plants on which it is climbing. The plant on which it climbs is called the host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, Cuscuta is called the parasite. So, are we and other animals also a kind of parasites? Do you think about this anything? No, we are not parasites. Parasites are the plants or organisms which live on or inside the body of the host and take the or get the nutrition from the host. So we are not the parasites. Paheli wants to know whether mosquitoes, bedbugs, lice and lichens that struck our body are also parasites. Have you seen or heard of plants that can eat animals? There are a few plants which can trap insects and digest them. Is it not amazing? Such plants may be green or of some other colors. Look at the plant in the next 1.6 figure, this one. The picture like or jug like structure is the modified plant or leaf. The apex of the leaves form a lid, that is this one, which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. This is the pitcher. This is the basically leaf, but it is modified into the pitcher like structure. Inside the pitcher there are hair which are directed downwards. When an insect lands in this pitcher, the lid closes and the trapped insect gets entangled into the hair. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is digested by the digestive juices that are secreted in the pitcher and its nutrients are absorbed. Such insect eating plants are called insectivorous plants. Is it possible that such plants do not get all the required nutrients from the soil in which they grow? Yes, it is possible. That's why the plants like this picture plant, they are getting nutrients from the insects. Now Bujeho is confused that if the picture plant is green and carries out photosynthesis, then why does it feed on insects? So for that, the next type of nutrition mode in the plants is given, that is saprotrophs. So till now we had seen two different mode of nutrition in plants, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, and different plants, that is insectivorous plants, parasite plants, and we had seen many other things like all living organisms require food and utilize it to obtain energy, to grow, to repair damaged part of the bodies. What is the nutrients that we had seen then? The process of taking food by organisms and its utilization in the body is called nutrition. We had seen basic two types of nutrition, that is autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. So in autotrophic nutrition, we had seen organisms make their food by themselves from simple substance is called autotrophic nutrition. In heterotrophic nutrition, animals and most other organisms take ready-made food from the other organisms is called heterotrophic nutrition. So process of synthesis of food occurring in the leaves of the plant is called photosynthesis. Then we had seen the requirement for this photosynthesis process. So for this process of photosynthesis, sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and water are essential. We also seen the equation of this photosynthesis process and diagram of this photosynthesis process. Then we had seen other mode of nutrition in plants, that is parasitic nutrition, insectivorous nutrition and saprotrophic nutrition we will see in the next period. So for this, thank you.